Everything's going to be a mess.
Right.
So what do you do? If I was in charge,
Go on.
I'd just say, yeah, carry on. It's 2007, it's September, it's a Thursday, get on with it.
Brilliant.
I think because people
26 hours later, with a new day, and 480 days later, it's another year, 2008. I was trying to explain to him yesterday in a cafe about telescopes that can see back to the Big Bang.
Why did you do that?
Well, I was trying to explain what a light year was. Then I was explaining to him that, you sit down, you put your telescope on, you're looking at a star, the star explodes. That star exploded 1 million years ago, and he couldn't have it. I was going, you're literally seeing it explode 1 million years ago, because that's how long the light... And I started telling him that, someone on another planet, far, far away, could be watching the 1980 World Cup final, if they had a strong enough telescope, because that's how long it took to get... look at his face. I can see his head bleeding.
I just don't... So are you saying...
Why did you start doing this in a cafe? Was it a 24-hour cafe? What were you thinking?
But are you saying then there could be an alien fella?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that just like we can see things happening in on other planets, other solar systems that happened millions of years ago, there could be a little alien fella with a telescope watching the Battle of Hastings if he was far enough away.
Do you understand the concept of what Ricky's saying, that light is travelling at a certain speed, which means it hasn't necessarily arrived here yet?
So we could all relive history, though, is what I mean.
No, we couldn't, because we
whiz backwards.
Well, no. One, you'd have to travel faster than the speed of light.
Yeah, I know, but say if we can do all that...
Well, that's the big thing, you can't.
No, but, it's only a matter of time, isn't it?
Why haven't we?
No, but we're not in a rush to do it, because we can just go back in time.
Well, but if time travel's possible, right, eventually, then it's already happened and they've come back.
Yeah, no, but what I mean is, it's one of those inventions that we're not in a rush to do, because...
No, what I'm saying is, if it's possible, then it will happen, and if it will happen, it has in the future.
Yeah, but we don't know about that yet, do we?
No, but you see my point?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not that great just because you're seeing that far, because there's nothing in the way. You're looking at nothing. Space is nothing. What are you looking at? They say. What do they say? I don't know.
If only you had a saying there at your fingertips.
What I mean is the universe, they say it's non-stop, there's no sides to it.
No, they don't say that. Scientists have never said that.
Now, Karl, I know you're fascinated by the concept of the doppelgänger, of seeing someone who looks exactly like you. Jake has emailed in. He says, Karl, if you could spend a day with an exact replica of you, okay, so somehow they've cloned you, Karl, and you've got him for one day, what would you do with this? What would you make him do? What conversation would you have with him? What would you do? Is there anything you could, how would you utilise him for one day?
Well, they'd both say, I'm not bothered, and that would be the end of conversation.
What would do me head in is, does it think the same way, look the same way,
exactly the same?
How would I know which one I was?
Because you'd be you.
That's amazing.
No.
That's incredible.
No, because
that is the most stupid thing ever said by a human being. Can we get the Guinness Book of Records on this? I mean, out there, listen to people, have you heard anything more stupid than how would I know which one I was? It's the most stupid thing any human being has ever said by definition.
But think about it, this other person's going, all right, thanks for meeting up and that. And I go, hang on a minute. No, you came to me. And then Suzanne would come home and she wouldn't know the difference. And then suddenly you'd start doubting yourself. And you go, should I be leaving? So how do I know if I am that real one, if he knows what I know?
But you know who you are because you're experiencing it.
But he'd be saying that because he'd say, yeah, it's a bit weird.
But you know the truth, you idiot.
How would I know which one I was?
So anyway...
But bear in mind,
what would you do?
You could pass him off as yourself.
What would you do? Would you play tricks? Would you,
You could be in two places at once.
Would you do stings? Would you do scams?
Like Jackass?
No, because it would only end up getting me into trouble, won't it? Because people won't believe that there's another one like me. Otherwise, everyone would be saying that when they get caught robbing. They go, oh, it wasn't me, it was my doppelganger. I wouldn't want it, to be honest. It's a bit of a headache, isn't it? because he could be going off, going mental, causing all sorts of trouble, and you're going, will you pack it in? And he's going, what are you on about? But then that wouldn't happen, would it? Because he's being me, so he'd be sat wherever I am anyway, because he'd want to do what I want to do. So pointless. But I still wouldn't want it.
It's unbelievable.
That was a conversation with himself.
That was amazing.
That was like experiencing what it would be like there was two cars.
Yeah,
we
could have left in that time and come back, and he'd be arguing still. That is officially the most stupid thing. If the Guinness World Records, has anyone anywhere in the world said anything more stupid than how would I know which one was me?
But does this mean though that I could just sit at home and not do anything and just send me out on...
Yes.
And when he's seen something happen, I'm seeing it.
No.
You're separate people.
You're separate people.
But then he's not a doppelganger then,
Well,
is he?
you're identical twins then. You found out identical twins and he's got exactly the same input as you. I mean, it's not a real question, is it? It's just a little... Again...
But I said to you the other week about twins and that, how I wouldn't like to have a twin. It's alright when you're a kid, but unless you're a Siamese twin, even they don't even look alike, do they? Just stuck together. You don't go, oh, don't they look like each other? They have different haircuts. They don't carry that thing on, do they? Like normal twins do. Like normal twins, the man say have the same haircut, wear the same shirt. Siamese twins never look the same. They've just got their arse stuck together.
Again, it's a dialogue in his own head. It's unbelievable. Okay, we're trying to get more cerebral now in this podcast. There's a lot of science here, real science. Maybe we should call it a spodcast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Karl. This is a logical conundrum. To a certain extent, there's a little bit of lateral thinking because, but there is only one right answer. Now, the pressure here isn't to get this right because I don't know anyone who's ever got this right. The pressure is. One, asking sensible questions, and when I've told you the answer, to then understand it. Because when I've explained this to people, I've laid out for them, they still can't quite get the concept. Okay, so, there's two doors, Karl.
Yep.
One leads to heaven,
Right.
One leads to hell.
Yep.
Okay, they're identical, you can't tell them apart. Okay, 50-50.
Right.
Obviously you want to go to heaven, I assume. Right, there's two guards, identical guards, guarding each door. Okay? Right. The one guarding hell always tells a lie. The one guarding heaven always tells the truth. You have to ask one question to find out which is which, and then go through the door you want. What question do you ask?
I've only got one.
Yeah.
And what? One to both?
No, one to either of them. You don't know which one's which though. So what question do you ask?
Why can't I ask, like, both of them one?
Because it's
Because
not
the rules are you can only ask one. There aren't actually two doors labelled heaven and hell, Karl. It's a leap of imagination here.
And I've definitely got to answer. I've got to ask them a question. I can't just sort of have a feel of the door to see if there's any heat or anything.
They're identical. You stand a few yards away. You cannot tell from the outside of these doors which is which. They're identical. The guards are identical. But the one guarding hell always tells a lie, and the one guarding heaven always tells the truth. What question do you ask?
Can't look through the keyhole or anything.
There's no keyhole.
Near them. Let's imagine there's a small rope that prevents you from getting anywhere near, rather like outside a nightclub.
Yeah. What do you ask? What do you ask? What question do you ask? Come on, you only got one. Quick, this is it.
So, they stood there.
Yeah.
They both look the same. They're both smiling.
Yeah.
But one of them's not really smiling, really. He's trying to make me make a mistake, isn't he?
Well, he's just going to lie when you ask him a question, if you ask him.
So what's the point in asking a question? Do I know one of them's going to lie?
Yeah, well, the one guarding hell always tells a lie. The one guarding heaven always tells the truth. These things you know.
But would they be neighbours like this? Would they be that close? Why?
I mean, we're not sure if these two guys get on.
I'll give you a clue. They know who they are, and they know that the one guarding hell always tells a lie and the one guarding heaven always tells the truth.
So I know that.
No, they know it as well. Doesn't really come down to this, Carl. This isn't what's going to happen when you die.
But when is this useful then?
Because it's a logical... Well, I'll tell you the answer.
No, I want to see if you can get it. He's almost there. No, he's not almost there. What am I thinking?
But there's no shame in not getting it. There's no shame in not getting it. It's a really hard one to get. The shame is the ridiculous questions you ask. And now I'm going to tell you the answer.
Hang on, right, so you go up and you go...
hang on. Well, look, let's imagine that. Let's imagine Ricky and I are those two guys. Okay, right?
But we have to. Me and Steve will decide which doors we're guarding. Okay.
Right.
Look away, Carl.
Okay.
Right.
Then.
So we've decided. Okay, one of us is guarding hell and one of us is guarding heaven. Which question are you going to ask and who are you going to ask it to?
Right. I'll just say to you, Steve, I'll go, got some post for God here.
That's not a question. That's a statement.
Right, you've got some posts for God here.
No, that's not a question.
Yeah, but maybe the question's coming. You got some posts for God here, yeah?
And it needs to be signed.
It's not a question. Still not a question.
No, let him finish.
Is God in? Because I need him to sign for this post. Is he in?
Well, I can answer that as well if you want.
Go on.
He's in. He's behind my door. Do you want to answer it?
Well,
yes.
Do you want to get him? Just.
Well, no, you've only got one question.
So you're asking Steve, is God in? What's the answer?
Yes.
Ask me. Yes.
Look, lads, I'm just trying to do a job here. What am I going to do with this?
Well, give it to me and I'll give it to God because he's behind my door. Steve?
Yeah, give it to me and I'll take it into God because he's behind my door.
You're an idiot. It doesn't help. That doesn't help. Let me tell you the answer. You ask either one of us, you say, if I was to ask the other one what door he was guarding, what would he say? Then whatever they say is the door they're guarding. Because if you happen to ask the one guarding hell, right? I'm guarding hell, by the way. I'm the devil. Steve's God, okay? So you asked me what Steve would say if you asked him what door he was guarding, and I'm going to lie. I know he'd say heaven, because he'd tell the truth, but I'm lying, so I'd say he'd say hell. So you know I'm guarding hell. If you ask Steve what door I was guarding, he'd tell the truth, right? So he'd say heaven, because he'd know I'd lie. So he's guarding heaven. So the question is, if I was to ask the other one what door he was guarding, what would he say? And whatever the person answers is the door they're guarding.
Steve, what door are you looking after?
Well,
heaven.
Yeah.
Why should I believe you?
Because you don't know. No, that doesn't work. Because you asked me the same and I'd say heaven as well.
Right, so you do believe. This is where you use your gut feeling though, isn't it? This is what life's...
Well, as opposed to the pure logic that Ricky's just used.
I just think, because there's a lot of questions in life where you don't know the answer and you go, do you know what? I don't like the look of him. So...
They're identical.
Yeah, it's still identical twins. You always get a little snidey one.
Oh, chimpanzee, that is raining down. What?
That's the jingle there for Carl's Diary. Still a very popular feature on show 1/13. Here we are. Got a book sent to me called Freaks. It's a bit heavy, but it's got some interesting pictures in it. Read a bit about the two-headed nightingale. She/they was on tour in London years and years ago. It cost 2 shillings to have a front row seat. She/they had 2 heads/2 arms and 4 legs. They are called Siamese twins because the first twins that were born stuck together were Siamese. On one of the pictures, they are playing chess against the doctor. That hardly seems fair.
2 heads are better than 1.
So it's 2 heads, 2 arms, and 4 legs. That's just 2 women in one dress.
Yeah, that's 2 women with an arm missing.
Yeah. Spoke to Ricky and his friend Glyn about art. I just don't get it. Ricky had some odd pictures on his walls. I don't have any pictures up in my flat because of the mirrored wall. But I can't say I'm bothered. The mirrored wall, we should just explain what that is. When you moved into your flat, there was an enormous mirror on one wall, was that right?
We just got this flat and you know, it's not a big flat, so I think the people who had it before us, he was a gay fella, right, which was a bit like, what's he been doing with that mirror and that? But no, just, you know.
What has he been doing with the mirror?
Well, no, it's just because they're quite sort of experimental in it, aren't they? And
I don't know, what do you mean? What do they do?
Well, I wouldn't know anything about it, but go on.
No, what do you?
no, I don't.
Experimental in what
What do
way?
you mean experimental?
I just mean, you know, they'd be doing stuff. Whatever they do.
Chemistry,
What?
at a chemistry set, they were doing experiments, what?
No, just doing what.
Singing I Am What I Am and just checking out the
Each to
dance
their own, I'm
moves.
not having a go at anyone, but I'm just saying, like, they're doing what they're doing. Which
Carl, you're not
is annoying as
homophobic,
well.
are you?
because-
You're not-
No, I'm not. This is why.
Why are you worried about what a little gay fella was doing in your flat before you got it in front of a mirror?
I wasn't worried about it.
Why are you thinking about what he's doing? Why are you fantasising what a little gay fella was doing in front of your mirror in your...
I'm not bothered. I'm just telling you why it was a bit odd that he had a mirror in there, right? But forget the history.
But you've got a mirror in there now, haven't you?
No, because what I did was, I was going to take it down, and I thought, oh, it's a bit dangerous. This, you know, it could crack.
Because it's the size of the whole wall, isn't it?
It took up a whole wall,
Right.
So like when he's moving about everywhere, he's got a good view of it and that. But he's got this full wall of mirror, and I thought, I can't take that down. And I thought, what can I do? So I've just put wallpaper on it.
Brilliant.
And it looks all right. You wouldn't know, have you? But it means that I can't put any pictures up. That's all I'm saying. Because I've put a nail in it.
And what don't you understand about art? What about art don't you understand? The concept? Specifics?
Just the way some people like, you know, the ones you've got, where it's just like a block of colour on a bit of canvas. It's like, what's that?
Abstract. It's just abstract. It's you know, it's vibrancy of colour. It's an attack on the senses. Or there could be something in there that you might see. You might not see first time round, or it could be, you know.
Yeah, but there's loads of stuff to look at without having to do that.
But
You've
that's
got
the point.
windows. I can understand if you had a cell and there's no windows and you want a bit of colour. But you've got a window to look out of, and you've got like just a big block of...
But I was explaining this to you, the photograph of people before, you know, art was photography. It was realistic, and you know, they had to make it look like the subject. But then when cameras came in, that's when people started doing surreal stuff. And
I understand that.
Otherwise, there was no point to it. They had to find a new way to represent things that photography couldn't do as such.
No, so, that's like when we were in London having a shop around at Christmas, and there was that picture of fruit for 700 quid. It's like, well, just get some fruit. You know what I mean? You can get some real fruit for 3 quid.
Yeah.
I understand that, but there's nothing wrong with like having a... We'll get... Don't invent cameras then, one or the other. Do you know what I mean? That's what annoys me. Someone invents something, and then they go, we've got to invent something else. Like the abstract thing. Why has someone gone, oh, I can't have paintings anymore because...
Was it a Dali? Going melting clocks and stuff? No?
I mean, the first one was all right when he did the first clock, but then all the time he's just like, oh, I'll draw something and it's got a melting clock on it. I'll do a sheep, put one of them on it.
Have you seen his lobster telephone?
That annoys me.
Why?
Because it's not, I mean, I think what annoyed me more with that is when I heard about how it happened, he had some artist mate round, right? And I don't know what happened. They were eating.
That's a hell of an anecdote.
No, but they were eating some food and what have you.
Yeah.
Lobsters?
And yeah, they were eating lobster. And
That's handy.
I don't know, the other artist, whoever it was, sort of started saying, oh, you and your clocks and all that, right?
Brilliant.
And,
This didn't happen.
They started arguing, and he chucked some of the lobster.
Bollocks.
And it landed on the phone. Bounced off his mate's head, went on the phone, and they both looked at each other like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And they brought out that phone as a bit of art. Things like that annoy me. Because it was then just messing about.
That didn't happen.
Just telling you what I know. I saw his work. Each to their own, if that's what he's doing. I'm just saying, I'm not putting my stamp of approval on it.
Heaven forbid. Well, you know, as you mentioned in your diary, your favourite artist is Lowry, because you can look at them for ages and see someone different every time you look at it.
All I'm saying is, art should be there to tell a story, not just to have a splash of colour. We know colour's out there, there's loads of colour. We don't need to be reminded of it.
But colour's part of our evolution, and so it does something to us. Just like sounds.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do a picture,
Smells.
colour it in. Still use the colours, but draw something with it rather than just going, bit of yellow, bit of red. Like that one you've got, just red and black. What's that meant to do?
Well, it does something.
What?
Well, I like it, I enjoy it, so it does something.
Yeah, have it then. I'm just saying, I prefer it if it was something.
And so let me just get straight. You had a mirror on one wall, so you padded that wall.
It's just
and
sort
you
of,
padded the others.
It's just sort of wallpaper on it.
Right.
Amazing.
And there's no other art in there.
Not
It's just an empty cell.
Well, Suzanne like some art? Just like Suzanne's not allowed to watch telly unless it's a favourite thing. Otherwise, she's got to talk to me about stuff. There's no art. There's no point. Just wallpaper.
I'm just saying, we've got three windows we can look out of.
Right.
Right? Stop looking at the walls, look out the window.
Some new words have been introduced into the dictionary. Too many words. We should have some system where we can get rid of words if they aren't used a certain number of times.
Well, that we do.
They do die out, don't they, eventually?
Like what?
You don't have to use them.
No, but they don't, do they? They keep adding them. And I just worry about, this is the problem with, like, your head can only hold so much, can't it?
Yeah.
It all very well when Adam and Eve was knocking about. There's no history, they don't have to remember anything. All I'm saying is, fine, bring out a new word, but once you bring out a new one, bin another one. The dictionary's getting bigger and bigger, no one's keeping an eye on it.
I think they are.
They're not, they keep adding.
It doesn't grow. They don't just dig it up one day. It's got bigger. What have you done?
So
left it out.
You're happy for them to stick in iPod, let's say?
But we can pride ourselves on having more words in the English language than any other language. I think we've got twice as many as the second. I think maybe Russian. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure someone emails, but
we don't talk the most, so there's a lot of clutter there.
What do you mean we don't talk the most?
Well, you'd say
nothing
that.
as expressive as the English language.
Yeah, no, because we've got a word for everything. I'm just saying that I don't use all these words that are coming out, and I just think, like I say, keep an eye on it. Some sort of, I don't know how it can be controlled.
But Shakespeare invented words. I think Shakespeare invented about 1,200 words.
Yeah, and we're probably still using a lot of his. So why not keep sticking more in the pot?
Right.
Stop using loads of words.
People are panicking in New York about the snow they're getting. It's 2 foot deep. They're saying it's to do with global warming. I don't get it. 2 days ago they were saying the world's getting warmer and the ice is melting on one of the poles where the polar bears are. As long as we get snow on the world, does it matter where it goes? Read on the internet that heads are bigger now than they were years ago. Brains are getting bigger apparently. This is because we're being told too much information. We are told too much stuff about things that we wouldn't have known about years ago. You've just made that leap, haven't you? Presume maybe heads and brains are getting larger, but the fact that it's because there's too much information cramming in them. Where
well, it is as time goes on, isn't it? It's that thing of we're being taught more and more every day. As time goes on, something's happening every day. You've got to remember that.
No, you haven't.
You have. It's the same, like I said, with the Adam and Eve thing. They didn't have that much to remember. They come on the world, they go, what happened yesterday? Oh, not much.
Well, in the all-new Ricky Gervais show, there is no monkey news as such. That's going to come back, Carl. You've got to bring that back. But we're going to do something that we used to do on our local radio show called Rockbusters. Sounds a bit like Blockbusters, a television programme that used to be on television where they gave sort of real cryptic clues. Yours aren't cryptic clues, yours are ridiculous. So explain Rockbusters.
Give out an initial of an artist or a band knocking about like now or ages ago, and I give a cryptic clue.
It's not a cryptic clue. Very rarely cryptic. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's nonsense, but...
Well, as we once said, I think it is more accurately described a craptic clue.
Yeah.
Well...
Or what am I thinking?
Well, are you going to give an example, or will we just do them?
The classic example, of course, for me is a woman. She's an artist. The initials are WH. She was wandering around in Texas. She fell over. Part of her leg fell in a puddle. Wet knee, Houston.
That is the level.
That's what you're working with, people.
So he's going to give 3 of these. The first email that gets them all right, the first email we get, and it's timed, isn't it, email, so we can know, that gets all these clues exactly right, can win, A signed photo of Karl?
Now that is...
In for an operation on their head. Do not ever listen to anything Karl says.
Why have you got to be awake? Because you'll be bored anyway. You'll be sat there.
Well, they give you a telephone directory, look, and they say, look how many Macs are in there. That's the Scottish telephone directory. And, you know, time flies when you're counting that sort of thing.
No, but do you know, like, when you...
What are you telling me? What are you asking me?
I'm just saying how weird it is. It's weird, isn't it? It's like, do you know when you go for a haircut, right? It's a bit embarrassing. Well, I don't anymore, but when you go for a haircut, it used to be...
You go for a haircut?
It used to be a bit embarrassing when, like, they'd wet your hair and they'd make you have that sort of Hitler cut because your hair's wet, and I used to hate it, and I think, do you have to do that? Do you know what I mean? You know
it's similar. It's very similar to open skull surgery.
What I'm saying is, it's almost like barbers like to do that to make you look daft and feel daft for a bit, and there's women coming in and out, and you're sat there with a daft haircut.
Yeah.
And this is what that reminds me of.
Do you think they do it in a shop window? This brain operation?
I'm just saying, it's a bit weird.
Do you think they go, why are we doing it in John Lewis's? Just so more people
can... That's what doctors are doing. Let's make this guy look a bit stupid.
Yeah.
Open his brain
Look
case.
at the twatty look for this brain over his head.
Take a Polaroid. Reg, take a Polaroid.
Look at him. Look at his face. Right, clock his face when I give him the mirror. Get this on camera.
Put this fake nose and glasses
Sorry, did you teach me something then? Was that education?
I taught you that your brain case can be open when you're awake. And you just sat there sort of letting them get on with it.
Brilliant, I've learnt that. I'll never forget that. Right, go on, anything else?
You'll love... Let's play a song, because the next one is amazing.
What, even more amazing than that?
Yeah. Play a song?
Yeah, a bit of Bowie?
No emails still, by the way.
No, I don't think it's working.
It's not working today.
Lady Stardust.
We'll have to do a phone-in for Rockbusters.
Off the Ziggy Stardust album.
Alright.
Bit of David Bowie. When's that ever hurt anyone, Steve?
Never.
Lady Stardust off Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant. Karl Pilkington is in the middle of educating me. Colon then, educate me.
Right, so...
I've learnt that you can, you know, fiddle around with your brain when awake. That's brilliant.
I've never been a fan of doctors though, so this was a good one for me to look up, because...
Yeah.
Did I tell you the time when the doctor said I was going to die?
Alright, keep talking.
Right, ages ago, must have been about 15, right? And at lunchtime there was this... We used to have a choice of stuff to do at lunchtime, right? We used to have like a burger place that had an arcade machine in it, right? So we used to go there and play on that and have a burger. Or there was this baker's, right, that my mum worked at, and did great cakes and stuff, right? So she used to like bring some home and that, but she couldn't always bring them home every night because, you know, they cost money, and she used to get them for free. And they used to say they'd rather chuck them away than give them to the staff because there's a chance that the cream might be off.
Right.
Right, so they used to chuck them round the back. So I used to go round the back with my mate and eat loads.
Brilliant. Eating out of bins.
No, it wasn't out of bins, they were still in trays, but they just stacked them up near the bins, right? So this got out, I mean, it used to be chocker. Once the school found out, everybody used to go there, and it'd be like, well, have a cake.
The headmaster probably fighting the kids off.
Right, so I'd have, you know, you'd just eat, I don't know, 6 jam donuts or something, and then you'd spend your dinner money on the arcade machine.
Brilliant.
Right? So it was a good afternoon, really, right? So you'd do that, and this one day I must have had 6 or 7 jam donuts, a few Congress tarts.
What's a Congress tart?
Just, I love them. I can't get them in London, right? So I'd have some of them.
If anyone can get a Congress tart for Karl in London, please let him know.
So anyway, this day, that was just a normal day. Do you know what I mean? You'd once or twice a week, you'd have a load of cake.
In your life?
Yeah,
so anyway,
in your life. Were the frog boys there with the webbed hands and the big heads?
So,
and the horse in the settee?
But the day after, one of these days, I had really bad cramp in my belly. Right? I was like in agony, could hardly walk. So I said to my mum,
you could hardly stagger to the free cakes.
So I was in absolute agony. I said, I don't like doctors, but you'll have to get a doctor in because I don't know what it is, I can't walk. She gets the doctor around, I won't say his name, but he said, well, doesn't look like he's got long left.
Blimey.
So I was a bit like, hang on a minute, I've only had a few cream donuts.
Yeah.
My mum was panicking.
Sure.
he went, my dad came in from work, she said, oh, something's really bad with Karl, I think it's serious, you know, the doctor said he ain't got long left. So he said, what, he said that and just left? So she said, yeah. He said, I'll have to call him then. So he called him up and said, what's all this about? You know, Karl hasn't got long left, how long's he got? So he goes, I was only messing. She's just had some bad cream. Can you believe that?
Well, the thing is...
I like the fact your mum didn't ask any questions.
I know.
She didn't go into detail. Can you explain more, Doctor? No, I got to show off.
She doesn't.
You know, I don't want to diss you or your family, but I imagine if I was there, I'd have known the doctor was joking. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I sound very arrogant there, but I imagine he went, what's he going to do? I had about 6 cream grains. Oh, right. Oh, wow. He hasn't got long to live then. I'll see you later. That's what I think the doctor did.
Yeah. It's like the idea your mum just let him go.
Yeah.
Terrified, thinking, well, I'm not going to probe him. He's that's it then.
Dad comes in. Hi, honey, I'm home. Anything happened? The doctor said Karl's going to die and then left. Did he? I'll call him.
But anyway, that's why these sort of things fascinate me. So we'll move on to this next one, right, which is brilliant. Dead short story. So, right, old woman, about 70 years old. Yeah. She's normally fit and healthy and stuff. Nothing wrong with her. She's having a good life. And one day she goes for a check to the doctors, just to check herself out, because she's getting on a bit. Yeah. Says, take your clothes off and that. So she does, and checks her out. Says, yeah, you're looking good, you're looking good. Turn round. He said, oh God. He says, you've got a tumour on your buttock. Right? So she goes, oh, what, can you do anything to sort it out? So they go, yeah, we'll book you in for an operation. It's best if we remove this. Books her in for an operation. Operation day comes, strip her down and that. They're all stood round, the doctors. Start to operate. It only turns out it's a pork chop that she sat on 5 years earlier, and it had stuck to her buttock.
Right, Karl.
I can forward you. Listen, serious.
Right, okay, Karl, I'm telling you now, I'm leaving. I'm never doing this show again.
No, I'm saying honestly.
You're talking, I've never had such. You are. Play a record. Play a record.
I can believe it.
What do you mean you can't believe it? Stop the record. Stop the record. Stop the record. Right, okay. Right, what do you mean you couldn't believe it?
No, when I read it, I said I've got to tell Richard.
This woman had a pork chop stuck to her arse for 5 years, you mental case. Of course she didn't.
Syntax, Pride, XFM 104.9 with Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Right, get off. Right, what you got next?
Right, well, running a bit late with this, but it's time for Do We Need 'Em? We're looking into what.
I'm really worried about this because everyone's getting that last clue wrong. I reckon it's so rubbish that even your mental fans can't work it out.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but.
Give that final Rockbusters clue again.
The Jamaican fella had to have some aspirin. Why is that? Why did he have to do it?
No, hold on, that's changed.
Well, it doesn't matter. The story.
Oh, it doesn't matter. That's the point of a cryptic clue, isn't it? Oh, what have we got now?
Right, so we're looking into animals that we get rid of. I've spoken to someone about snails. I've spoken to someone about jellyfish, and that. And looking at cockroaches today.
Right. Now, who's the expert?
It's a woman called Jessica Marshall.
Right.
Does she know that you're going to play this on the radio?
Well, I called up right in the week and said, can I talk to someone about cockroaches? And she was like, is that Karl?
She knows who you are?
Yeah.
Right, so she already knows maybe your angle, your approach.
Yeah, she was
and she's an expert, she's just not just some random person.
No, she works in a museum, a good museum. I said I'd give it a plug. It's the one near Knightsbridge. It's got dinosaurs and that in it. It's worth seeing.
What, National History Museum?
Yeah. So,
He's not sure. He's not sure.
This is what happened. Now, what I'll do, I'll tell you as much as I know, and then you can fill me in if I'm right or wrong. And then at the end of it, we'll get to the bottom of whether we need them or not.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, the first thing that I found out is that they have 18 knees.
That's not exactly possible. They're insects, so they have 6 legs.
Yeah.
And a knee is usually the junction between femur and tibia. That's sort of classic human knee and every other animal knee. So with 6 legs, you can only have 6 knees.
Could somebody sort of got mistaken for seeing one that was a bit double jointed? Cover
I
tracks.
think you're grasping at straws or something.
Alright, well, we might have to come back to that one then.
Okay.
They can hold the breath for 40 minutes.
Well, they don't do that because they don't breathe in the same way as us. They breathe through little spiracles, holes down the side of the body, so... no, they're not a very apt simile because the method of breathing is so different.
What do you mean?
Because insects have a totally different system. They don't have lungs in the way that we do, and just breathing through one part of the body. They're actually breathing through every segment of the body all the time.
So even though they've got their mouth shut, they might be able to
It has
slide.
nothing to do with breathing.
So
Only
it just.
feeding.
So you see, maybe that's where someone's gone wrong. Someone's got hold of one and sort of taped its mouth up or something, and
Thought it was-
got bored after 40 minutes and said, "Well, we'll call it
It's a
right."
pretty unkind thing to do to an insect, even to a cockroach.
Yeah, but it's all.
You can't do that.
Yeah, but
No. Pretty unkind thing to do to anything, even a cockroach.
something else I found out.
Yeah.
They can live for a week without an head.
Well, that's true if they don't bleed to death in the process.
But the weird thing is, when I told you that they had 18 knees, you seemed a bit sort of like, don't talk ridiculous. But then we're talking about an animal that can live without an head. So there's a little bit of truth in that one, yeah?
Yes.
Why, when it was invented, has it got that facility? Say if someone said to humans, we could do that with humans, and if you lose your head in some accident, it gives you a bit of time to sort of go back to your family and maybe write them a note. You won't be able to have a chat, but write them a note saying it was my own fault and it was nice knowing you.
Well, that would be a useful facility, I agree. But cockroaches are great survivors. I mean, they've been around for over 300 million years. They're one of the most primitive insects.
All right. Well, I've also. Is it true that they do a lot of resting? Apparently, they can sort of rest for 75% of the time.
Rest.
Yeah, they just sit about doing nothing.
It's probably true of a vast proportion of the world's fauna.
I mean, maybe the 25% that they are working, they're really giving it some, so it might make
probably
up.
searching out food and, they can slow down considerably. You can chill insects in the fridge and they'll become very, very quiet. You might think they're dead.
Yeah, but I'm sure, if we were sat in the fridge, we'd go a bit quiet, wouldn't we?
Well, you might not know much about it, of course.
Yeah, but...
You're not quite reading the right sources.
Well, I've been using the internet.
I'm sure there are many useful sources that you could find there, but some of those seem to have been a little misleading to you.
So you don't agree with a lot of what I've told you there?
No.
So cockroaches, can we get rid of them?
No.
So we're keeping them then?
I would say so, yes.
I think we should get her on more often because she sounds like she'd be a bit of an ally, really. Because she knew immediately that you were talking nonsense. She even said, I think you should be more concerned about your sources, which I've been trying to tell you for a year. Right? The fact, 18 knees, where did you get that from?
It's on the internet.
They can hold their breath for 40 minutes. I don't know what you read and take on.
Mad world, don't it?
Right.
The Cure, obviously.
Yes. Right, Carl's been taking phone calls for these clues. Right, and so everyone's been saying the same thing for the last one. He's been going, no, and I'm worried, I'm always worried. FD. I just overheard him on the call, they're going, oh, what have I been saying? Oh, no, it's FP. Dickhead. Right, give me the clues out, it's a roll-up. Right, tell people, we're really sorry to anyone who would have got that right. Okay, right, do the clues quickly, tell them it'll be a rollover, so we have to do 3 new ones.
Do you not write these down, Carl?
I don't write the answers down in case Ricky looks over the thing and sees the answer.
Why would I cheat? I'd rather you do something right with your life.
Right, well the clues were, I've got 3 other jumpers like this one.
Yeah.
That was FT.
Yeah.
They got that, 4 tops.
Yeah, that's all right. Good, well done.
That bunch of people can't make up their minds if they want to sit in the sun or not. That was C, they were getting that. That was charlatans. Charlatan, right? A bunch of them, charlatans, right?
What? What's Charlie?
No, it's like shall I go out? Shall we? Charlatans. They got it, right? Where I went wrong with this one, the Jamaican fella, he had to have some aspirin. Why? It's my fault, I'm not cutting, there's no point passing the book or anything. I said FD. A lot of people were saying Fred Durst, like forehead hurts, which is a good one.
Yeah, which would have been as good as any of yours.
But I made an error, so we'll roll it over.
No. What is the answer?
What
was the answer? Jamaican fella what? Add some aspirin, why do that? What's the thing?
FP.
It was Frida Payne.
Frida Payne.
Frida Payne.
Frida Payne. Frida Payne. That's awful. You've got to write these down next week.
This is right.
You're the producer.
I know, but I've had a busy week, haven't I?
That's not an excuse. That isn't an excuse.
Our excuse is we don't care.
Yeah.
You do
put
care.
The work in and then make a mistake.
Yeah. It's better not to try than try your hardest and be rubbish. Do you see the point? We don't care.
But you've got standards.
Yeah,
and you're not meeting them.
Think of that. You're not even reaching your standards. God.
Right, well that's that I guess. Well, the prizes will be giving those away next week.
Again. Just completely...
Song for the ladies to end the show with. It's from Nick Cave's new album, Nocturama. This is a track called He Wants You. Back next week.
Remember, Frida Payne. There you go, Feeder, Just the Way I'm Feeling, XFM 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. We've got a great show lined up this week, haven't we?
Go on, what have you got planned?
Well, I've got songs from David Bowie, Thin Lizzy, Gene, AC/DC, you heard Feeder there, you got, Smiths, all that. We've got a great feature, a new feature, spoke to Karl in the week, and we worked out a new feature where people are going to give him sort of like problems to solve. That could be scenarios, there could be management scenarios at work, problem solving, things like that, organising things. He's a very good organiser. So I'll tell you what happened. He's dropping Do We Need Him because he's getting fed up with scientists. He thinks there's a conspiracy and they're getting together and they're never going to lose an animal.
Right.
So he's just fed up with that. Rockbusters, we've got some great prizes.
Well, have you seen them yet?
Nah.
Be careful.
They're not going to be great.
I just peeked in and all I'm going to say to you is Fools and Horses Christmas Special?
Not the little one with the little car.
With the little car, yeah.
Brilliant. That is excellent. Karl, what have you got to say for yourself? Hold on, it was a rollover, wasn't it? Because you really mucked up Rockbusters last time. What was he doing? It was saying FP for the whole thing. No, FD you were saying, and it was Frida Payne.
Have you written the clues down this week? Because that seems like an obvious way to improve this.
Yeah, I'll write the clues
A week
down.
before he couldn't remember what the answer was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you learn by your mistakes and that.
You don't.
Well...
So I'll give you a little taster. But we were having a pizza in a pizza establishment. When was it? Wednesday or Thursday? And he was going, I'm a good organiser, I'm a good problem solver. Give me any scenario, right? Obviously he didn't say scenario. And I went, okay then, so you're the manager of this place, and there's a couple there, elderly couple, they're about 60. They've had a lovely meal. He went, yeah, right. I went, but the gentleman, he's got a little bit of a heart condition. He takes a pill after his meal, as he should after meals. He's only taken Viagra.
Oh.
And now he's stuck in.
Wedged in?
It's calm, and it's stopping him getting out from the table.
Yeah.
So what would you do? He went, what? Are you stuck in because of his dick? I went, yeah. He went, right. He said, I'd use the situation, I'd make cash. I said, you're not going anywhere, do you want a pudding?
Entrepreneurial, I like you, Karl.
And he went, so that's that sorted, I've got the job on that. Next, I went, okay. You won't believe it. Next day, there's a little problem in the toilets. Two gay men were having sex and they got stuck in each other. Yeah. He went, right. I'd say, is it the same fella as yesterday with the Viagra? If so, why was he let in again? He was on the door.
Yeah.
I went, it's not. It's too different. He goes, right.
Does his wife know he's cheating?
Yeah. He went, right, I'd go down. I'd go, and then he went,
Oh, I'd say this isn't a restaurant problem, call an ambulance. Strictly speaking, not a restaurant problem, no.
But am I right?
Huh?
Am I right?
Well, I don't know.
Would you give me the job if say, like, you were the boss of that restaurant and you...
Do you know what I like about this? At no point did he say, Gervais, why are you being so mental?
Yeah.
Why would someone get stuck because they took Viagra by mistake and two people would get stuck in each other?
But you heard the stories from his past. That is a perfectly legitimate situation to find yourself in. If you grew up in this part of
What would you
Manchester.
do if there was two fellas with big heads and webbed feet and they had a horse in a... Well, what I'd do is... What would you do? What did you do when you first saw him?
What, saw the
kid-
lads with the big heads? And
Yeah.
We should very quickly remind people, if they didn't listen to that particular show, they had webbed hands. Did they, or webbed feet?
Well, they had webbed hands.
Right.
And big
and
heads.
enormous heads.
But it wasn't related.
But they weren't related
I know,
to each
they were
other.
completely
No,
separate
but I'm
people.
saying that the webbed hands isn't due to the fact they've got a big head.
No, sure.
It's two different things. We're just unlucky.
Yeah.
No, hold on. If they weren't related and they both had webbed hands and big heads, I'm saying there was a condition that was related that had those two.
I don't think there was.
So what do you think the chances of that are? They're not related, and he goes, "Oh, you've got a big head and webbed hands as well." Yeah, just a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah. I honestly don't think it was related.
Right.
Because I've since seen the same problem again on another kid with a big head. His hands look good.
Right. So do you think the big head is just a separate issue?
Yeah, it's a totally different illness. It's like having a headache and a cold at the same time.
Right.
It's,
So
you know.
not all connected.
But the weird thing is, right, looking around in the week at weird stuff on the internet, there was this woman who's got a big head,
Oh.
and she was fed up with it because when she was walking down the street, it was so big she couldn't hold it up.
Right.
Right?
She couldn't hold it up. Oh God. Okay, shut up.
So
She couldn't hold it up.
when she was walking, her eyes were hurting because she had to sort of look up all the time because her head was that heavy. Her chin was sort of balanced on her chest.
Right. And she'd have to peek up, yeah.
So she goes to the doctors, and this was after years and years, and said, I thought I could put up with it, but I can't. It's
How big was her head?
It's big, Rick.
I don't know if it was like big, because there wasn't a picture. I don't know if it was just big or a lot of bone. So it was heavy.
Very heavy.
Right, like the Elephant Man, just
So,
outcrops.
yeah, right. So the doctor said, we can sort that out. But we'll have to take your head off.
Right.
Okay,
No, but listen
keep
to
going.
this, listen.
Okay, keep going.
Because what you don't seem to understand is I have the same reaction to you when I see it.
Yeah.
What?
Right. You're quizzical yourself.
So I looked at it, they took her head off, chipped away a bit of the bone, made her head lighter, put it back on.
By the Smiths on XFM 104.9. So, what's the email, Carl? If people want to ask you something, a problem, they've got a problem to solve. It can be anything. It could be a personal problem. It could be a scenario. It could be about war. It could be anything. But
Or it could be more flippant, I suppose. And like
yeah, it could be.
Yeah, but I prefer stuff that I could
So you
sort
can get your teeth into.
and actually, sort out.
What, like war?
War is too. It's a bit big for me, that one.
Do you think?
I don't want to get into that.
What do you mean? If Tony Blair came to you and he went, Carl, listen, I'm having a bit of trouble here. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. I've tried spin. I've tried being tough. I've tried backing down. I've tried getting other countries involved. They don't want to know. What do I do? What do I do? You don't know?
Tricky one.
It's a tricky one, yeah.
I don't worry about it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get in the bath, put a mattress on top of you. That's it.
Sorry, why are you doing that?
Ooh, slow down.
Why are you doing that?
That's what they say you do, isn't it? If it kicks off.
If what kicks off?
If there's a war and that, you get in the bath, put a mattress on top.
Right. Did they do that in the Second World War for 6 years?
Was that making bunk
That's
beds?
what I read somewhere.
Yeah.
Is the bath full of water?
No. That'd be daft.
Okay.
I think they were enamel baths then though. I think they'd stop a bit of shrapnel. I think the plastic ones you get nowadays would probably melt on you. And the mattress where your dad has cut it in half, all the foam would come out and the springs would get you in the eye.
Oh, talking about my dad. Steve, you'll love this, right?
Go on.
My dad hates being ripped off, right?
Yes. Well, I can relate to that. That's important.
Hates coming to London now. He always wants me to go and see them rather than come here because he just thinks London is like a big rip-off. Last time he came, he got annoyed because I bought him a scone and a cup of tea for like 3 of us, and it was £14, and he just was livid. And then we had an argument about that, and then We went to the Millennium Wheel, and I said, do you fancy going on this? He said, oh, all right. And then he saw the price, and it was something like 20 quid or something. And he said, 20 quid to go up in the air to look at stuff that's on the ground. He said, I might as well stay on the ground.
Brilliant.
Right? Thought,